Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be predicting the scores of week 28 of the 2019-2020 Bundesliga season. Now, before we get started on week 28, let's have a quick look back at how well we got on in week 27, which has just finished with an exciting match between FC Koln and Dussledorf.
So last week I had an awful week. I only had 4 points with no perfect scores.
And I also had no perfect scores, Nathan, but I had 6 correct results, giving me 6 points overall. Representing the viewers last week was Doctor Who 2002, and the Doctor came away with 8 points with one perfect score, which was the 2-0 away victory for Dortmund over Wolfsburg. Top scorer of the week with 8 points, along with Doctor Who 2002, was the Dugout Football Channel friend of the show, Douglas James Horn. So congratulations, Douglas and Doctor Who. So overall now, Nathan, since we've been doing the Bundesliga for the last couple of weeks, you're on 12 points, I'm on 16 points, and the viewers are also on 12 points. But enough of last week. Let's crack on, make some predictions for week 28.
Okay, so first up at 5:30 on Tuesday, we have got the Klassiker, which is, well, the game between the two biggest clubs in Germany, arguably the two biggest clubs in Germany, Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, taking place at Signal Iduna Park. Interesting fact about this one, 19 of the last 21
Bundesliga titles,
either Dortmund or Bayern, have won the league in 19 of those 21 seasons. Of course, two sides not included there, Werder Bremen and Stuttgart as well, who ironically now play in the second division.
Yeah.
Massive club in the second division. I think their ground's like 60,000, but both won their last 6 matches on insane runs of form. 2 goal machines, Lewandowski, Haaland, just ridiculous all over. Really difficult to say who's going to win this one, really. Last time it was 4-0 win at the Allianz Arena for Bayern. Could be completely different. Dortmund rarely lose at home, but then again there's no crowd, so that doesn't matter. And I think I'm going to say Bayern are just going to edge Dortmund on this one. I think they have just a little bit extra quality than Dortmund, and I'm going to say 3-2 to Bayern.
Yeah, very interesting game this one, called De Klassiker, sort of stolen El Clasico from the Real Madrid-Barcelona match. Of course, prior to this, you could say that the bigger games have been De Klassiker in Germany. I think, the two biggest clubs at the moment, or two most successful clubs, Dortmund and Bayern Munich. But before that, it would have been, Stuttgart or Wolfsburg, but it's whoever's top of the tree along with Bayern Munich, you could say. But at the moment, sort of media hype it up as the Klassiker between Dortmund and Bayern Munich. As you say, Nathan, earlier in the season, Bayern Munich destroyed Dortmund 4-0. This week, Bayern Munich victorious, 5-2 victory, Lewandowski on the score sheet again. Dortmund a fine 2-0 away victory against Wolfsburg. So both in fine form at the moment. How do we go on this? Well, at the moment, Dortmund are 4 points behind Bayern Munich, so they really need to win. If Bayern Munich win this one, it's pretty much all over for the title. Yeah, so I'm actually going to go for a victory to the Yellows in this one, the home victory. And I'm going to go for a 2-1 scoreline. Jadon Sancho came back in the match this week, came off the bench, set one of the goals up as well. Emre Can came back in to the fray as well. Royce is still out, I believe. I don't think he featured yesterday, so maybe he'll start.
Guerrero's still on fire as well.
Guerrero scoring magnificent from the left back berth. Absolutely superb, the Portuguese left back there. So 2-1 for me in De Klassiker.
Interesting.
Next up, we've got the first of the 7:30 kickoffs on Tuesday between Eintracht Frankfurt and Freiburg. Now, Freiburg this weekend surprisingly losing against Werder Bremen at home. I think most of the people in the comment section put a Freiburg victory in that one. This one could go either way, really. Where'd you go? Would you go with form, or Frankfurt losing their last 5 matches? So they are at home, but whether these matches at the moment, is there any advantage in that? So I'm going to sit on the fence on this match, and I'm going to go for a score draw 1-1.
Interested. I actually disagree with you. I think Freiburg, they are inconsistent, but they do tend to play well when they need to, even though Werder Bremen, very shocking.
Yeah, terrible.
But then again, they got a draw against Leipzig, and their manager's probably going to be into them this week, saying that they got to beat Frankfurt, and I just don't see much quality in Frankfurt at the moment to give them anything really. So I'm going to say a 2-0 Freiburg win. Next up, we got Leverkusen versus Wolfsburg. Now, Leverkusen climb into the Champions League places with a solid win, 3-1 win over Borussia Monchengladbach last week. Wolfsburg, of course, lost 2-0 to Dortmund, but that's kind of expected, really. Tough to say who's going to win between these two, but I'm going to go for the same score that they had in the last game, and that was a 2-0 win to Leverkusen. It is at Leverkusen, so yeah. I think it'll be that like that 2-0.
Yeah, Leverkusen, as you said, magnificent away victory against Borussia Mönchengladbach. A bit of a mouthful, that one, but Bayer Leverkusen winning 9 of their last 11 matches, so absolutely stupendous form at the moment. Say, Nathan, they beat Wolfsburg earlier in the season.
Kai Havertz on fire as well.
Yeah, Kai Havertz, 2 goals in that match, that win against Monchengladbach, so I think he's going to carry on his form. Yeah, 2-0 home victory to Bayer Leverkusen in this one. Next up, we got Werder Bremen at home against Monchengladbach. Now, Werder Bremen getting that surprise victory away against Freiburg. So yeah, have they gained confidence there? They're playing against Borussia Mönchengladbach, who really, they were turned over a little bit by Leverkusen, but I think overall, much better team than Werder Bremen. So I can see Gladbach go into Werder and gaining a 3-1 victory.
I think it's going to actually be more than that. Last time around it was 3-1 as well, but Gladbach are going to look at this one and saying we got to make a statement, especially after losing to Freiburg and dropping out of the Champions League places and replaced by Bayer Leverkusen, of course. I'm going to say that Werder Bremen is going to get destroyed 4-1. Next up, we've got RB Leipzig versus Hertha Berlin, the Battle of East Germany, of course. Yeah, and this is the first of the Wednesday kickoffs as well. Indeed. So, another tough one to call. Leipzig got a massive 5-0 victory to Mainz last time around. I think that's how you pronounce them. Whereas Hertha Berlin got a good victory over Union Berlin in the Berlin derby last week. Going to be difficult to say who's going to win this one, but Timo Werner really impressed me for RB Leipzig last week, getting a hat-trick. And I think that's probably going to happen again, or he's going to get a few goals, and probably Sabitzer might get one as well. So he was on the score sheet as well. Indeed, 3-0. Yeah, Leipzig back up into third position, 1 point ahead of Bayer Leverkusen, so it's all to play for. Can they close the gap on Bayern Munich? Probably not, unless Dortmund beat Munich in the Klassiker. In this match, Leipzig, as you say, Timo Werner, hat-trick against Mainz. That was his second hat-trick against Mainz this season as well, so he scored 6 goals in those 2 victories over their opponents there. So I think it's going to be a home win to Leipzig over Hertha Berlin. Hertha Berlin gaining that 4-0 victory against the east side of the city rivals in Union Berlin. I think that's only that was the second time they played each other in the top flight. Prior to that, I think they played maybe 4 times in Division 1 when Hertha got relegated a few years ago. So that was a fine victory. Union Berlin very in good. 13th position at the moment. Don't think they got any chance of really going down there. But Hertha, a couple of good victories since being back off lockdown, so I think they will give RB Leipzig a good game, but Leipzig look absolutely stupendous this afternoon. Leipzig look dominant. Yeah, so I'm going to go for a home victory to Leipzig, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 home win. Interesting. When saying that, Piatek looks very strong at the moment as well from Hertha Berlin. Next up at 7:30 on Wednesday, we've got Dussledorf against Schalke. Now Dussledorf this afternoon, they were 2-0 on FC Koln, and then they just threw it away
away. Cologne scoring 2 goals in the closing stages of that match. So for the morale, that isn't too
Terrible.
good. Schalke, surprisingly, they've only won once now in their last 9 matches. Earlier in the season, this was a draw, 3-3. So I'm going to stick with that. I think the form of Schalke is shocking at the moment.
Terrible. 1 win in 9.
The manager, David Wagner, he just can't get a tune out of this side at the moment. So could he be teetering? Could he be playing with getting the sack? Probably not in these difficult times. Who would be sacked at the moment? But yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, all square in this one. I can't really separate these two teams at the moment.
Believe it or not, Schalke haven't been impressing me at all recently.
No.
They've been losing everything. They haven't really been playing well either. Dussledorf, on the other hand, do like a draw, and they do like a few surprising results as well. Like they beat Freiburg 2-0, but then again, that was before lockdown. And they also beat Hertha. They also got a good draw with Hertha Berlin as well. So yeah, I'm gonna actually say they're going to surprise Schalke, and they're going to win 2-1.
Wow.
Next up, we've got Augsburg playing bottom of the table Paderborn. Augsburg got a very good victory last time around, smashed Schalke 3-0, ending that long run of poor form. And now against Paderborn, got another draw, a good draw last week against Hoffenheim. No one saw it coming, but they seem to do well against that. Anything could happen in this one, I reckon, but I think Augsburg might just edge it. They are at home, even though that doesn't mean anything, but I just can't see Paderborn doing anything. So I'm going to say a narrow 1-0 victory to Augsburg, matching the result from last time around.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a straightforward win for Augsburg. Paderborn drawn their last 2 matches since coming out of lockdown. Augsburg, a magnificent win against Schalke. Schalke, they're all over the place. That was away. It was a 3-0 victory as well. Paderborn not scoring goals, really, not putting their chances away. I do think they'll score in this one, but I think it's going to be a defeat for the away side. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Augsburg. Next up, we've got Hoffenheim at home against Cologne. Hoffenheim, yeah, not impressing me much at all, really. Drawing 1-1 against Paderborn, but last week they were absolutely shocking their defence, so I can't see them winning this one. They did beat Cologne earlier in the season though, Nathan. Cologne coming back, they could have quite easily lost that match this afternoon against Dussledorf. They showed great spirit to come back and score those 2 goals near the end. I think they missed a penalty as well. Yes, they did. It was I think UTH, I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, he missed a penalty in the 59th minute. So really could have won that game overall. I think Cologne are going to take that come back, going to build on it, and I think they're going to go away to Hoffenheim and pull out a 2-1 victory. Hoffenheim don't impress me at all.
No, they don't impress me either, but I don't know, I just think with Cologne's form, I can just see him pulling out another draw, to be honest. And same with Hoffenheim, they're going to look to get the points just to stay in 9th position, really, and continue their form from earlier in the season. So I'm going to say a narrow 1-1 draw here. And finally, we've got Union Berlin versus FC Mainz. Bottom of the table clash. Anything can happen in this fixture. I think Union Berlin shocking last week in the Berlin derby, where they should have offered a lot more, really. And then FC Mainz got absolutely destroyed by Leipzig, so 2 teams that got destroyed last week going up against each other. Anything could happen. Mainz could win, Berlin can win, it could be a draw, but I think Union Berlin might just narrowly grab it. They do seem to be much stronger at home than they are away, so 2-1.
Yeah, both teams, as you say, Nathan, getting destroyed. Union Berlin on the end of a 4-0 away defeat against Hertha, and Mainz absolutely being destroyed against Leipzig. So that was 9 goals against in those 2 matches. Union Berlin at home, if the fans were there, they pack out that stadium each week, but each time they play. However, there's not going to be any crowds, as we all know. Earlier in the season, Union won this match 3-2 at Mainz as well. Mainz teetering, they're on 27 points, they're 4 points ahead of Dussledorf at the moment, but Dussledorf now have only lost once in their last 6 matches, so they're going to have to do something in this match, Mainz, but I can't see that happening. I'm going to actually go for a Union Berlin victory in this one. I'm going to go for 2-0. If you look at the match against Hertha, it was 0-0 at half time, and they just totally collapsed in that second half. So yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-0 home win for Union Berlin in this match. So then, guys, that's our predictions for week 28 of this 2019-2020 Bundesliga season. As usual, I'm going to leave a template of these fixtures in the description, and like the Dugout Football channel and Doctor Who 2002, you could get a shout out in the next video. Now, we're going to be back again on probably Wednesday evening, maybe Thursday, depending how we get around to predicting these matches, because it will be a late night on Wednesday evening. Yeah, these are coming thick and fast at the moment, but however, I think next week there's a little bit of gap until the next fixtures, so we will get a little bit of respite there. But yeah, enjoyable watching the Bundesliga at the moment. But Nathan, is there anything you'd like to add before we go?
Yeah, subscribe to our channel link in the description below.
Yeah, and I hope everybody's watched your rant video.
Yeah, I hope everyone's watched the rant.
Yeah, and check it out if you haven't already seen that.
Link in description.
About how the Premier League is going to come back.
How it shouldn't come back.
Yeah, how it should or how it shouldn't come back, playing football, etc. But yeah, I think it's, what's the time now? 7:30. I'm going to edit this video. We're going to eat this nice gatto. We've just had
a few beers.
We just had our roast, our Sunday roast as well. So
a bit late for that though.
Looking forward to that gatto. Thanks for watching as always. Make your predictions, and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.